Hello there, commanders, and welcome back to National Cup. We are in the third place match between China and Poland. They have lost their respective semi-finals to get to here, but well, that was just understandable because Russia and Ukraine that we are going to see next week in the finals are just one class above all other teams. But here we are, Poland versus China. Poland was third in the group stage. China was the fourth seed out of the group stage. And both teams, the last time they met each other in the group stage itself, they have tied. So Poland again, most likely opting for Rubicon. That's the map they definitely prefer. This time we do see changes in both tactics and rosters, definitely in both teams. New faces I can see. But anyway, Poland is heavily committing to C, which is usually the staple of the Chinese team. And now they have committed only one unit of cavalry over there. China and Poland are obviously also committing roughly equal forces over here on this flank, on the cliff side. Pikes pushing in for the Chinese team, and there is going to be a range duel between the repeating crossbows. And the repeating crossbows from the Chinese team do have better position, and they get the initial volley as well. Pikes already pushing in, but are they pike phalanx? They are not. They have been caught off guard. Were they even silenced? No? Well, maybe they were. There is Caesar over there. So Poland is not trying to go around and capitalize on the Chinese aggression, trying to maybe get on top of D. But there on the left flank, China also has probably 12 units of melee infantry versus just 6 of Poland, and they are also supported by 2 units of cavalry. So China is looking to rush B very quickly. They're giving up C, and they're also trying to rush A, but now Poland is trying to outmaneuver the Chinese team. They have already gotten through, and they will be able to put 5 units of their own on top of D. And can they prevent China from coming back? Here a unit of spears is going to stop Chinese infantry from coming back, but one of them is going to slip through, as the Polish team doesn't really pay enough attention. The cavalry is also going to push through, and it will find its way on top of D. So D will be contested. B already being capped here by the Chinese team. Poland is also trying to get back desperately on top of the point, but they're so hopelessly outnumbered that all of their units are just quickly cut down, routed, and China is going to very quickly capture B. C unlocks in 40 seconds. That will definitely go the way of Poland unless China can very quickly send something over there. But looks like their skipper cavalry is tied over here, and it also is helping over here at B. There's a possibility for them to rush over one of the cavalries, but even then that probably can be easily stopped by the Polish team. So we still have quite an equal fight over here on D, but the Polish team is slowly overpowering the Chinese team, kind of punishing their over-aggression at the beginning, where they didn't really have enough forces to push into the Polish positions, especially with that watchtower that definitely was helping them. And cavalry support proving very powerful for the Polish team, routing here one unit, only one of cavalry on top of D for the Chinese team, but they have already captured B, and now they are rushing straight into Polish base or possibly into C. C is going to be captured. There is no way that cavalry makes it there in time. And now the Polish have recalled and are preparing for a counterattack towards B. Already those are the players that have died at the defense of B, and they will try to push there again. Can Foxes be caught? Yes, they are caught in melee. Surprising reflank, that is enough to rout them. Did slowing does, has hold the line available, doesn't use it. Also the Chinese Foxmen didn't use hamstring, which would definitely be very deadly to those pikemen, but have decided against it. 7 versus 6 units inside the base already for China. 8 versus 6. They're going heavy from the very beginning. But the Polish team, once it captures D, which it will any second now, will be in the lead in terms of points being held on the map. So the Chinese team are looking to either very quickly win just by the base capture, by a surprise attack onto the Polish team, or maybe they're trying to divert the Polish attention away and try to recapture something while the Poland is forced to defend its base. 11 versus 8, so the capture is progressing ever so slowly. 10 versus 10, the Polish team is now matching the numbers of China, even now outnumbering them, so there shouldn't be problem for Polish team to get back their base under control. And now Polish team may also be looking to maybe strike back somewhere, depending on the forces distribution over around the map. So they have the Chinese counter-attack onto C, as the Polish units are still mostly in their base, but it is very close from the base to C, so the Chinese would need to be very, very quick with their movements to get on top of C, but the Polish team is already reacting with their cavalry, so those repeating crosses that are in a quite forward position will not be able to get on top of there, and now they actually need to be very, very careful not to get charged and obliterated by that Polish cavalry. They're going to retreat, they're going to respect the cavalry, threat, and hide behind their spears and pikes. China will now contest C, and they will also miss. Oh, caltrops ever so slightly helping, and the cavalry charge was very, very slow. The caltrops there really nicely placed. You can say even baited, maybe the Polish team didn't see them. And there we go, now the cavalry is stuck in melee with some swords. Not a very good position to be in, and for some reason it is also not disengaging. Chinese team's forces though are being slowly cut down inside the base, so that is going to be a nice advantage for the Polish team. Polish team is now contesting, even capturing for a very brief second B. C is contested by the Chinese team still, so it is most likely going to be all about C. The repeating crossbows now for the Polish team have been called over to help on C, and the repeating crosses from the Chinese team are caught out of position ever so slightly, but they're actually responding with a much more powerful volley than the one that the Polish team had found. So nicely played there by the Chinese. And well, Poland is sending multiple units inside C, trying to prevent the Chinese from getting it. They have also now cleared up the entire base, so they will be able to heal back and reinforce C. They also do have that they also do have that healing zone over here. They will be able to reinforce C much quicker than the Chinese team will be. But it is being denied ever so slightly by one of the units. Poland is trying to route it, but apparently this unit is not. Oh no, it's not this unit. It's one of the guys who has given us the replay. So it is being flanked. There we go. Now it is going to route finally. And yep, there we go. And Chinese cavalry charges in with Oath of Perseverance most likely available to even further deny the healing on C. So very well played there by the Chinese team, but that is not going to be enough. They, on top of denying the healing zone consistently for a long period of time, they also need to clear out all these Polish units, and even more and more of them are coming from behind their base. China can look to deny the Polish healing zone over the base, or even try capturing the base again, as they do have large concentration of forces from B, or maybe use them to attack C from another flank. So this is right now, Poland has one last unit inside C, but a little bit more very closely to get in. And the cavalry charge, very, very weak because the unit is almost dead, but it counts, it disrupts the Polish repeating crossbows, and the Chinese repeating crossbows can find another volley into them. But now they're going to be pushed away by the Polish infantry. Maybe find some real volleys into them, but the Polish repeating crossbows are also not looking to really allow them to do that. Cavalry is also going to pursue them. Caltrops are being dropped, repeating crossbows are being split up and trying to hide behind pikes. Polish cavalry is going to land on top of caltrops. This one is not, but it can run into pikes. Gets the repeating crossbows though. Pikes are in pike phalanx, it will cut down the cavalry and their own repeating crossbows, unless the cavalry is going to escape. Polish find more and more units inside C. They have also, despite the Chinese best attempts to deny the healing zone, they're managing to constantly heal up their units inside C healing zone. And even though the China is maybe in a ever so slightly advantageous position over here, or those spikes are facing the wrong direction, I can tell you that. Because it's being used, spin to win. They have almost turned around in the correct direction. There we go, now they're good. But it is a little bit too few of them, and they're going to be cut down. Polish cavalry still applying pretty good pressure, keeping the repeating crossbows away so that they are not able to kill the blobs of Polish infantry that are gathering on top of C. And again, despite the Chinese best efforts to deny the healing zone, they just simply cannot do that, and Polish team is going to look to keep on to C. So what can the Chinese do? They can launch a counter-attack onto D. That's what they're looking to do right now, as they have realized that capturing C is most likely not going to happen. They're still behind in points, only 100 points, so not that big of a deal, not that big of a difference. And now the Chinese have decided to not go for D after they have scouted it, realized that there are multiple forces from the Polish team defending it. So now they are going to go back to contesting C. That is kind of a waste of time. But now the Chinese team is launching another attack over from B towards the Polish base, trying to deny another healing zone, maybe just pick up some free kills and free experience for the future engagements, and maybe just divert the Polish attention towards their own base, prevent them from getting in and pouring inside C, because, well, the Chinese team is still very, very strong in this area. Now the cavalry from the Polish team will be caught off guard, recharge all three flanks of perseverance, not used, and the unit is routed. Spears looking to suffer the same fate, and, well, maybe, just maybe, that the Chinese team is going to be able to take C. But yeah, well, given how many units are healing over here for the Polish team, I don't really think that is going to be a possibility. And D is still being captured. And the Polish team is, after they have healed up their forces at D, they're also launching another attack towards C, which is under their control. But they're just looking to collapse on the Chinese team from all directions over here at C. As the Chinese team is just using lemming train tactics, just committing everything to C all the fucking time. So we'll see if they can come up with something to change the dynamic of the battle. Still trying to deny here the healing zone behind the Polish base, but now they're getting their units surrounded and cut down as they are not able to get any reinforcements. 2 units inside the Polish base, diverting some of the forces that the Polish team has committed towards C, but given that the Chinese team units are being slowly killed down, cut down over there, it is not really looking good for the Chinese team. As the Polish team, well, they are in a really good position to clear the contest for C and start getting 3 points per second rather than just 2, or 3.3 and 2.2 to be precise. Let's see, what is the Chinese team doing? Are they doing anything different? Still not. Still not. So it is still looking very good for the Polish team, as they're just going to keep increasing their advantage every time that the Chinese team just tries to get C. They're very, very desperate about getting C. Now they managed to catch the Polish repeating cruisers off guard with their own repeating cruisers still mostly intact. So we'll see if they will be able to convert it into any sort of advantages, but their melee infantry lines are just not strong enough compared to the Polish teams to even to make a difference. So the only way for the Chinese team to make a difference is trying to do something else. They really need to realize that constant attacks on C are just simply not going to work. They need to figure out something else. And, well, attacking D is a possibility. There's only there are only 2 units defending it. They're not that strong. And if the Chinese can find a powerful attack over there, well, maybe diverting the attention of the Polish team by launching another attack on the base, that's something that they could go for. They're still denying the healing zones, but what of it if you just don't have forces over here to even try contesting C? As yep, it has now been cleared by the Polish team, so 3.3 points per second to just 2. The Polish team is looking to increase their advantage now even faster. And now finally, the Chinese team is again trying to cap D. They have tried it before, but they have decided against it very, very quickly before they even went halfway there. So let's see, they do have 1 cavalry that is going to go towards the healing zone, trying to deny it from anybody who will wish to respawn on here over there. They're sending 1 unit of infantry over here that is going to arrive first, and 2 units of pikes, 2 units of spears, and another 2 units of cavalry. They're sending a lot of them. Okay, now that is looking to make some change. The Polish team is trying to get B as an answer to that, as the Chinese pressure from point C is being slowly lifted and pushed away. But as the Polish team actually shifts further away from C and more towards B, maybe they will be able to take B. There are still substantial forces of the Chinese team in the area ready to defend it, and they do have that advantage of the healing zone, and B is much easier to defend than C, arguably. There we go, 1 cavalry charge, routing the dogs, nuking, and Warcry is enough to rout the unit. Doesn't even need a flank applied. This unit of swords is just outside of the point, just giving the essentially for free to the Chinese. So it's good on the Chinese to try something else, but on the Polish team really to not realize what's going on and not reinforce D in time. Then again, it's much harder for them as the Chinese can just recall and go here, and the Polish team can't really do the same without just walking there the usual all the way without any teleports being involved. So the Polish team needs to try to find and capitalize something else on the map. They're trying to get B. They're also sort of trying to push towards the Chinese base, but now that the Chinese have captured D, they can just either go back to their base or go and capture A, which is what they're doing. The Polish team has only one unit of dogs over there, which is definitely not going to be able to defend. This time it prevents the charge from the Chinese cavalry, but 2 more units are coming, and this is Scipio cavalry. It can rout anything if it wants to. So charge being used just to get in a position of flanking faster. I really do like to see that. Charging doesn't matter as long as you apply flanks. There we go, reflank, war cry, and the unit is routed. Rebellion is not going to change that. And there we go, A is going to be captured by Chinese. So as soon as they stop mindlessly pushing C with lemming train tactics, they turn it around, get D, get A very quickly. And the Polish team has been just caught off guard. Like, I can understand not being able to protect D, but they should have seen that coming, A being captured. And the Polish team has also just failed to defend B. B is easy to defend, especially if you have the forces to begin with, right? The Chinese team has held substantial forces in the area, as they have held that throughout most of the battle. And now the Chinese team is looking to have 4 out of 5 points going into the second half of the battle. And well, it's not really going to be the second half if they're getting 6 points per second. That is going to rack up quickly, and even then they were just 100 points behind the Polish team. So now the Polish team needs to find a way back, as they were ahead throughout most of the battle. They're still ahead in points technically. That is not going to last long though. What can the Polish team do? The Chinese team is pressuring them, forcing them to defend their own base. They're also closing in from this side, as the Polish team is trying to maybe well, regain control over on A, but the Chinese forces are just simply equal over here, so I don't really see the Polish team getting it either. The only way then, maybe capturing the base. That is definitely something that can win them the battle, especially as they're now falling behind in points very quickly. And seems like that is what the Polish team is going to attempt. They're going to go into the Chinese base while holding the Chinese team also away from their own base. And well, let's see if the Polish team can succeed in the capture of the Chinese base. They still are holding the Chinese forces away on both flanks, and they have better positionings over on C. But the Chinese forces are also present over here in this area. They do have that healing zone behind the base that they can always teleport to. The Polish team has access to the healing zone over on C, but that is being denied by the Chinese team as well. So the Polish team may just very well fail the attack. The repeating cruisers are trying to get inside the base, trying to get some volleys in, but they forget about cavalry existing in this match and they get charged. Chinese infantry is coming in to seal the deal, seal the fate of the Polish repeating crossbows, also looking to seal the fate of the swords over here. Cavalry will definitely be enough, so the infantry turns its attention to the Polish infantry. And the base capture that was looking promising at the very beginning has already crumbled, and so is the Polish team. They're completely crumbling. They were so ahead throughout the entire battle. They're doing very well, and the Chinese team seem to be hopeless and going around the battlefield, or rather not going around the battlefield, they're just going into sea, lemming train like headless chickens. But the moment they realized, wait a second, lemming training into sea doesn't work, let's try something else. They did, that worked. But the Polish team, who was, well, better until then, sadly, I don't know, maybe they took the victory for granted and forgot about the possibility of teams moving around the map. And now, to even add insult to injury, the Polish team is going to lose C. The healing zone over here is denied, there's no reinforcements inside incoming. The one cavalry, sure, they can charge in an oath, but against such big Chinese forces over here, it is not going to last long. Even if it does, just going to get surrounded and quickly cut down. The pikes are over here to deny any possible reinforcements. Polish team 0 points per second now. China still very convincingly ahead, and the moment they capture C, that will be 9.5 points per second sprint to victory. So they turned it around, and well, that is a very nice comeback victory for the Chinese team. One of the very few in the entire tournament and even in the entire game as well. Having a comeback victory is quite difficult, but there we go. China showing how it's done with better team coordination, better map movements, throwing punches from all sides on the Polish team and just making them disoriented. The Polish team didn't see that coming, they had no idea what was happening, and by the time they realized, it was way too late. They're still trying to get back A, but well, that is obviously not going to work. So the Chinese team is going to be ahead in the series 1-0. It is best of 3, so one more victory to China and they will claim the 3rd place. But the Polish team obviously still have the chance to turn it around. After all, they tied last time, but the Polish team scoring a loss on the map of their choice. So we'll see which map the Chinese team will pick. They have picked Marathon in the past, LP's Graya in the past. Have they picked anything else? Maybe Capital and Hill. I think they played that against Ukraine, but they got wrecked over there. Maybe that was the Ukrainian choice. I don't really know. But well, whatever the case may be, whatever that second map may be, I'll see you there on Sunday. In the meantime, you can help us bring Total Warner back to the West. You know what to do. If you don't, just ask. And until then, I'll see you on Arenas Battlefields Commanders.